Kevin here from Harrington Classic Car Restorations. Today we're working on the 70 Chevelle, and we will be stripping the quarters because panel preparation is very, very important. If you don't strip it correctly, or if you're using the wrong sandpaper to where the primer or epoxy does not adhere, you will have an issue of the paint blowing off if you get a chip in it. So preparation of the body panel is most important out of anything. So that's what we'll do today. Is we'll use our DA stripper, or I use the 6-inch DA stripper right there with some 80 grit paper. You could use the 8-inch orbital stripper. I try not to because I don't want to like warp the panel, because that's a good possibility that could happen. So we really don't want that to happen. So we use the smaller one to keep it cooler. So stay tuned. Check it out. So here's the top of the quarter that's stripped. Again, I used 80 grit paper. There's still a little bit more to get off, as you can see right there. I like to get the rest of that off. I try to get it as clean as possible, so then I can metal prep it and then metal condition it, getting it ready for the epoxy. I am going to show you in a spot over here with my DA. I'm going to put it in grind mode and show you how shiny you can make it. I have seen things like that before, where people grind it off and the metal's too shiny and the paint and the primer won't stick. So hold on a minute and let me show you that. There's a lock button in here to where you can lock your DA in. There it is, right in there, to make it into a grinder. And that's what the grinder does, right like that. It is quicker. Here, I'll show you. But as you can see, it almost polishes the metal, as opposed to that with those 80 grit scratches with the dual action. Paint won't stick to that. Epoxy won't stick to that. Some people may say it will. I just wouldn't trust it myself, so that's why I get those scratches looking like that as opposed to like that. Look, you can almost see my reflection in there. So I'll end up going back to it with the DA and getting the polishing looking marks off of there. So stay tuned. It is DA'd again. Got all the polish marks out of there. Also went over the panel one more time. Looks a lot better than it did. Also got the top of this. As you can see again, there's little spots you need to get. Sometimes you just can't get it with the dust. You can't see them. And after I'm done stripping that and epoxying that, this is going to go to the blaster. The sand blaster will get all the jams for me, and then we will epoxy the jams. Kind of looks good with the silver and the black, but the car will be going blue. 8-inch orbital like the one I have here. This is a snap-on one. It's kind of a smooth one. This is what it'll turn out like when you're doing that, which is okay as long as you go back over it with your 6-inch orbital, so it make it look like that. Now, key thing here is if you're going to use one of these, try and stay away from that body line, because you could move the body line up or down depending on how you're holding your DA. I tend to try and use it as flat as possible as such when I'm doing most of it, but when you have a curve like this Chevelle panel does, it might get loud for a second here. See, I'll leave a little bit on there so I can get it with my 6-inch orbital. But it does make a little bit quicker work of everything. And like I said, stay away from the body line, because if you're going here like this on an angle, you could mess that body line up, and that's just extra body work for you.